All right, let's take a shot at synthesizing an 808 snare drum. So I've got a basic MIDI clip of just kind of a hip hop snare drum pattern so you can follow along. And this is going to be very similar to the setup on a tom drum. We're going to have analog, basic shapes, sine wave. And we're going to tighten up the ADSR on this. And this is going to start out just like a tom drum. So basically, let's pull up a spectrum analyzer. We're going for like a fundamental pitch of like around 200 hertz. That's usually where like snares live about. So we're at about 250 here at C3. So let's bring that down a couple of semitones. And there's no hard fast rules with this stuff. It's kind of like you do it by ear. So I think that's a little low. It's not quite 200 hertz, but I like that. So we'll roll with that. Happy little fundamentals. Let's take LFO1, envelope, BPM turned off, bring this over into a little triangle. And this is just going to be kind of like, at this point, just like a pitched up kick drum. That's pretty cool. We'll set it to unipolar, and we'll bring this down a bit. Actually, that sounds more tommy than the tom thing. So go back and try and redo that tom and try to do that in bipolar mode. See if that sounds better. That sounds cool. We're going to probably tweak that a little more later. But let's get the other half of the sound. So you got a fundamental, and then you kind of visualize the way drums work. So if it's a snare, you've got circular shell, and you got a membrane on either side. And so when you hit it, that pitch is going to crack and then kind of descend. And then you've got a rattle on the bottom. So we're going to use white noise to kind of emulate that rattle. So we'll go over to here, noises, analog, and let's find bright white. It's always a good place to start. That's kind of just generic noise. And let's actually put a separate envelope on that. So LFO2 to level. Envelope, BPM off, and make a little concave triangle of it. And there you go. That's your basic 808 snare. And then depending on how you do the levels, you can kind of just adjust like how much crack you're getting, how much fundamental. And then also if you want to play it, So the fundamental is following the pitch on the keyboard. If you want to get the white noise to follow that too, you can just hit this little keyboard thing and that'll enable pitch tracking on the white noise sample. So then the thing with that is though that it pitches it down, so you gotta kind of readjust where the center pitch on it. So. And that's really low, so that sounds even more, a little more like a Lindrum. So there you go, basic 808. And then if you want to go 909, you just start messing with the white noise sample. Let's turn this off actually, and we'll just kind of. Yeah. So 909 will have a slightly lower fundamental, so and it'll be a little tighter. I think it was like SH. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like a little duller white noise, and then if you add a little distortion to it. Maybe make the Yes, that's not quite a 909 snare, but it's a little more in the ballpark. And that's the basic idea of like an analog 808-ish, 909-ish snare. Next up, we're going to do more of a modern EDM snare. So we're basically going to take the same principles and then just soup them up with effects and filters.